Force is your typical spellcaster class, using techniques to annihilate scores of enemies. In today's video, we are going to discuss a powerful build for playing a Force Bouncer. Let's jump right into it. For starters, let's talk about your class tree. At the time of this recording, we have a maximum of 47 skill points to spend. Here's how we spend them. Max out PP conversion, which temporarily reduces your max HP in exchange for an increase in natural PP recovery. PP conversion increase, which allows you to use PP conversion twice. Photon flare, which temporarily boosts your max PP and weapon potency. Photon flare short charge, which reduces your technique potency and technique charge time during photon flare. Maintain PP gain, which recovers your PP if you don't dodge or attack after using a technique. Rod react advanced, which makes you invulnerable for a while when you use a technique while using your weapon action or dodging an attack with sidestep. Rod charge quick move, which increases your movement speed while charging a technique. Max out PP recovery boost, which increases natural PP recovery. Technique domination, which increases damage dealt to downed enemies by techniques. United technique PP well up, which provides natural PP recovery when using a compound technique. Photon flare after PP gain, which refunds the PP you use during photon flare when the effect ends. Elemental bullet, which will add an additional attack when you use a technique after guarding with your weapon action. Elemental bullet extended, which accumulates elemental bullets if you don't attack or dodge after using a technique. Eradication PP gain, which recovers PP when enemies are defeated in your vicinity. United techniques Force, which allows you to use compound techniques. Attacking fills the gauge of your compound techniques and allows you to use them when full. Max out compound technique gauge amplifier, which makes you build your compound technique gauge when attacking enemies with their elemental weakness. Max out photon flare short cycle, which reduces the duration and cooldown of photon flare. Rod technique hold, which will maintain charging of a technique when sidestepping or using a weapon action while doing so. It also lets you use that technique again for free, and will also charge it faster. Max out Rod technique PP well up, which lets you recover PP naturally while using techniques, but your natural PP recovery speed is reduced. Technique charge PP well up, which lets you recover PP while charging techniques. Rest of field force, which changes your rest assign into an AoE heal. Finally, slow landing charge, which slows your fall speed when charging a technique. Your subclass is Bouncer. The skills we want from the Bouncer tree are as follows. Max out Defeat Amplifier, which increases the down factor you apply to your enemies. Max out Partial Destroy Advantage, which increases the damage you deal and reduces the damage you take from enemies who have destroyed parts. Foe Brand, which places a fire seal on an enemy you hit with a fire technique several times. Hitting an enemy with a seal with another fire technique causes the seal to explode, dealing additional damage and restoring PP. Zan Gale, which will affix a vortex to an enemy after hitting them with an uncharged wind technique. Hitting them with a charged wind technique will activate the vortex, causing a different attack depending on which wind technique you used. Bardablot, which places an ice sigil on an enemy after hitting them with several uncharged ice techniques. Hitting the enemy with a charged ice technique causes the sigil to explode. Grants glitter, which will surround you with a halo after hitting an enemy multiple times with a light technique. While you have this halo, using light techniques will result in additional attacks, which depend on the technique you use. Gaining an additional halo does not stack them together, but resets the duration a halo is active. Zondaclad, which causes you to enter a high voltage state after hitting enemies several times with uncharged lightning techniques. While in this state, your next charged lightning technique will deal increased damage, then you return to normal. Finally, Megid Spear, which causes a dark orb to follow you when you hit an enemy with an uncharged dark technique. You can stock up to 3 orbs, and when you use a charged dark technique, you consume all active orbs to increase the damage of that technique. The damage bonus corresponds to the number of orbs you stocked. You will have 21 points left over in the bouncer tree, which must be spent, but can be spent however you wish, as we don't need anything else for this build. Regardless of whether you are fighting groups of enemies or bosses, your strategy is largely the same. Your job is to spam techniques that match your target's elemental weakness, being sure to use the elemental ability that matches the element you are using, such as making sure to abuse Foebrand when using fire techniques, or Bardablot when using ice. You can also hit your enemies with your compound techniques when their gauge is full. Using Photon Flare when available, especially against bosses, is also a good idea. At the time of this recording, the gear you should be shooting for are a Neos Astrian Rod and 3 Ajax armor units. Both the weapons and units drop from Darkfall's Aegis. The weapon can also be exchanged for in the Aegis Integra exchange shop. The augments you want for all of this gear are Technique 4, which drops from Field Races, Mining Rig Caveris Rank 2, and from Stia Exploration Sectors. Mastery 4, which can be exchanged for in the Augment Capsule Exchange Shop. Omsul 4, which drop from level 65 plus Omskavaris and from Omsvera Suppression Op Rank 2. Gigas Technique 4, which drops from level 69 plus Gigantics. And Hal Finale, which can be exchanged for in the Augment Capsule Exchange Shop. That's all for this build. If this video helped you, please like the video and subscribe to me for more PSO2 content. This is Shadgon, signing off.